Favorite podcast, Connecting the Dots. I'm here with Kimmy Coco.
What's up, y'all? Y'all can hear us. Jay Black has some special good news.
Yes.
That he told us. Can you tell everybody?
Connecting the Dots podcast is available on all major streaming platforms.
Yes, major streaming platforms.
Search Connecting the Dots.
Mm-hmm. Search Connecting the Dots under podcasts in Apple Store.
Yeah.
And
Apple Podcasts.
Google Play.
Google Play.
Yeah.
We're still trying to find that. But we're gonna get that.
Spotify.
SoundCloud. YouTube, of course.
So
that's a big accomplishment.
All of my friends from back in the day that used to send me their songs and make me listen to them, go check out my podcast.
Right. Actually learn
support each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're out here just trying to do God's work.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Spread some good energy.
Yes.
And for those of you who haven't listened to us before, usually what we talk about are political issues, social, economic issues, and just stuff that affects everybody.
Yes.
So if you have anything that you want us to talk about, let us know. Hit us up on any of our social media platforms, and we are CTD_ATL on Instagram. I think that's everybody's preferred method of communication these days.
Yes.
And, just holler at us. We post a lot of stuff, and then we end up usually talking about some of the stuff, unless we have a discussion during the week and decide there's something else people should probably know about. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
So this week, we're going to talk about Cory Booker's introducing a slavery reparations bill, give an update on some of the heartbeat bill, and we're going to talk about the SB 9 bill in Texas. Magic Johnson, Trump has an oil executive order. Yeah. Actually, he put 2 executive orders out last week, and just, chop it up with y'all. Just to get some sage burning up and down this internet or wherever you're listening to us at. Everyone, Nipsey Hussle was buried yesterday, so everyone, my daughter, I had to console her. She was like, call me bawling, crying because she's heard something on Fox News, I guess. They were talking smack, like not giving him his credit or whatever. Everybody's just been kind of depressed. I know a lot of people went out to LA, but he's finally been buried, so let's, let him rest in peace. Something else came out before we get into it last week, and I just wanted to kind of get you guys' opinion and kind of understand and see where I'm coming from with it. But Nipsey's friend, the one that he came to help, had just gotten out of prison after being in jail for 20 years.
Right.
He was coming to Nipsey's store to get some clothes, and he ended up getting shot along with another man with Nipsey. Remember when Nipsey was shot, there were 3 people that got shot, right?
Right.
So Mr. Latham, the man's last name is Latham, he's in central jail in downtown LA. He was arrested because allegedly when you violate parole by associating yourself with a gang member while on parole, and they sent him back to jail. Now, he was shot in the back. He was shot in the back outside the Marathon store and was taken to the hospital, and he was treated and he was released. 5 days later, after serving 20 years for murder, he was arrested at his halfway house. So I guess he was in the halfway house, and halfway houses have very strict rules, and they will send you back to jail, clearly. And he got sent back to prison. Now, I've been asking people for a whole week what happened to the other 2 people. And I'm like, I don't think it's fair that, because they're not as famous, that they didn't get as much attention. And as many people that were out there in LA, I felt like somebody could have gotten out there to check on them. To really carry on Nip's legacy would be to help out his homeboy, because that's what he was doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I'm thinking that he would be like, yo, y'all, my man's needs help. Like, where's the, like, I see y'all got an army outside this Marathon store, but I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you in spirit, and I want you to continue my legacy with helping people and helping my homeboys and helping my members, because this guy was a member of the Rolling 60s Crips, the one that's in, in jail now. And like, that army could have been marching in front of the halfway house when those people were trying to take it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody should have, not everyone, because I'm sure, let the mourners mourn. Let the soldiers fight. Like, there were so many Nation of Islam, people flew in, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Pay your respects and go help that man out.
Right.
I'm just disappointed that there isn't more attention being brought to this. Because even though, we have to, I guess, go by the system or whatever, we know the system is flawed. And that's why we have been putting all these policies in place.
Right.
But I just think as far as having foot soldiers, I think we romanticize gang membership. We talked about this on the last episode.
Yeah.
But, what's the point of having these soldiers if y'all aren't fighting for good things, or if you can't have some doing this and others doing that?
That's right.
How do we know they're not though?
Yeah.
They could be.
I know I just heard it.
I'm just I'll change.
The information just came out Friday.
It just came out.
And I'm sure Nipsey's people, the people that's in LA,
trying to
just
take care
because
of
it's not on the news, I'm sure they behind the scenes working.
Okay.
Because they understand the situation.
Yeah.
I've heard on different other podcasts they was talking about it man, we need to figure this out. So
Good.
Killer Mike, he spoke about it
it's
too.
still kind of new.
Killer Mike said,
it just happened.
yeah.
Right.
We can't expect something to happen like this.
Right.
We just gotta
That's fair.
Of course, Nipsey gonna get all the attention because he is a celebrity.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's tough though. That's tough. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking
Yeah.
and that you're not saying, and I felt the same way when we were going back and forth about back in the previous episodes when we talked about Meek.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. You took that risk.
Yeah.
You took that risk. And
That's true.
That risk kind of bit you in the ass.
It did.
And it's man, what?
I want to make sure, and this is my point.
And it seemed to me, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the courts, it's kind of opinion. It's the judge's opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like
That's
the
kinda
judge
petty.
should consider what type of person Nip was. Although he was a gang member, that judge should consider what type of person Nip was. And when he's dealing with this person, when the person goes to court and they give him this sentence or whatever, they should consider that. Although he was a gang member, he was a person that was really putting positive in the community.
And it's too, and I think that this speaks to the trials and tribulations that fellas go through as well. Because it's where else is he supposed to go? Because he can't get a job for a Fortune 500 company. He can't get a job probably even down at a pizza spot. So Nip, he's offering him a job. And in full context, yeah, we can say Nip that he's a gangbanger, but so is Snoop Dogg. We got to say it in full context. Was Nip out here catching bodies? Was he out here robbing people?
I think we gotta figure out
You can't even get shot when you're on parole, though. You're not supposed to be around guns, period.
What consists of a gang member?
Exactly.
What is a gang member?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is
because
active. That's the
Nip,
key
he's
word,
from that area,
active.
so he's always gonna be a Crip. Yeah,
But
he's
that's
always
what
gonna be
I'm
affiliated
saying.
with
I
that.
think that when the laws,
like you say with Snoop.
Yeah.
Snoop's a gang
Household
member,
name.
You feel me? Is
Yeah.
he considered a person that come out on parole? I guess Boosie. If Boosie around Snoop, would he be,
yes,
It's
go
crazy.
to jail?
Yes, he would. As a matter of fact, he was in jail recently. Did we talk about that yet? That
Yeah,
he got
with
out
him
though?
and old dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just okay, we keep seeing these people, and I guess the point I'm trying to make is the laws that we should press for and the things that we should talk to our community leaders and our politicians about is making it so that you are not an active gang member.
Right.
You
You
have an
gotta
affiliate.
put
You've
context in
been
it.
working. You've been
Yeah.
trying to get your life together, and you've been trying to disassociate yourself. But are gangs bad though?
And I saw this interview with Nip, and he actually broke that down. He was like, everybody is in a gang to a certain extent. Just like with politicians, you got your Democrats, you got your
Yeah.
Republicans.
Yeah.
Just when it comes to sports teams, all this stuff, everybody's in a gang, but with a fraternity. But Nip said what you do and what your mission is, that's what determines if it's a bad thing or if it's a good thing. So I think that, I don't know, it's tough for felons or people that were once in prison because they're supposed to get a second chance per se, but they really don't have one because you can't do this or you can't be around this person. Then you can't get a job. So the courts know if you can't get a job, you're going to go back to what made you money. You have to have something. So I think that's not fair to old dude because he was working. He was minding his business. But somebody just so happened to come up out of jealousy and kill Nip and try to kill him too. How is that his fault? That makes absolutely no sense at all. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I see it from both sides, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault,
but you still know.
Supposed to be there.
You still know.
Supposed to be there, so
You still know.
That's
true.
It's really a tough one to call. You can't
Yeah.
really.
But this dude is in a wheelchair right now
Yeah,
because
You
he got
serious?
shot in the back.
Wow. So he probably hit the spinal cord area or something. That's tough.
Crazy.
Even that though, I was asking. I'm like, yo, is the other dudes that got shot with Nip okay? Like,
we didn't hear
screaming
nothing.
and waving
Yeah.
on the internet everywhere. I'm posting stuff. Everybody like, oh no, they alright. I'm like, can we get them a card? Can we raise them some money?
Yeah.
Like, it's like Nip was their friend. That's Nip's friend. Clearly,
Right.
Nip was trying to help this guy out. Can we
Right.
take over that
Right.
and have a group of people that, and like you said, other people talking about it? We need to do
I don't
it.
think it's our job to take over there. I think if Nip was helping them out, I feel like Nip's people, like his brothers, like that's somebody that Nip mess with. So I feel like they gonna, he passed the torch to them, and his brothers and all they're gonna step up as far as getting that guy a lawyer if necessary, as far as making sure that other people.
So you don't think we should be? I mean, well then, what are we rallying around right now? What are we all doing right now?
I think it's more, of course, Nip was a celebrity.
Yeah.
And the message Nip was putting out. I think we rally around the message more than anything.
But the message was to do the things that I'm talking about doing for people.
Yeah. I mean, that's his people though. He was just saying just do it, for your people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Inside your
okay.
own
It wasn't
community, you know how
necessarily
people
his
say
people,
like we
like-
all got Nipseys everywhere.
Yeah,
That's true.
Nip ain't expecting me to raise his kids now.
He's expecting you to raise kids.
That's
He's
real.
expecting me to raise my own family to be
Own community
Right.
and all that.
He's not expecting me to run the marathon store now. He's
Right.
expecting me to open my own business.
Yeah.
Look, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's
you know
real,
that's
though.
not what I mean. I'm just
That's
saying,
That's real.
if Nip got hurt in a car, if he got in a plane accident and other people got
I
killed,
don't think he gonna make it out of plane accident.
I'm saying if everyone on the plane got killed,
Except for him.
no, him too. Like everyone on the plane got killed.
Oh,
like
got
if
you, got you.
everyone would be like, oh, we're gonna do this
Raise
for
money
the
for the
victims
families.
of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like there were other people with him when he got shot. Like
And speaking to Jay
y'all
Black's
are out
point, too,
there
fair,
putting candles down, put $1 down for the dude.
true. But I think people first had to mourn. Because
Yeah,
I think with Nip,
that's
that was a
true.
shocking
Yeah.
thing. And Nip,
And that's, like,
he was such
traumatic.
a prolific figure as well. Like, he meant a lot more than just rap. So I think that first we had to get over that. But I like, too, how people like Killer Mike, they've continued that conversation about the people who are still beside him. So I think
we need to.
We got to take care of that next.
to get behind Killer Mike. Get
Yeah.
behind David Banner,
T.I., yeah.
T.I., and all the Nipseys that are in Atlanta or in your area. Everyone has a Nipsey in their area.
Right.
I just don't want us to look hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because I always think like, I don't understand why people, it seems like, gravitate so much toward violence and tragedy. It's like, you could become addicted to tragedy.
Kevin Hart, he was actually talking about that on Joe Rogan's podcast. I saw that, but he was just saying that right now being positive and being cool isn't the cool thing to be. Like sometimes being negative gets you more attention. It gets you the most views. You remember we were talking about that. So I think that right now negativity is the cool thing, or being sad or doing dumb stuff is the cool thing to do. But I think that we just gotta stay positive, do what we have to do as a people first. And then Jay Black's point, again, we get so focused on the bigger picture rather than breaking things down.
Yeah.
So, of course, Nip, he passed, but we got to find ways to support our local Nips, like Jay Black, how he covers black businesses, things like that. Like, we just got to do our part. Because I think, we get so fascinated with big stuff, but we have to, break things down. Because, of course, we can't run the marathon store or we can't do certain things, but at the same time we can run our own stuff, our own stuff. So yeah.
So everyone saw the memorial service. Yes, have you seen it?
It was dope. It was very.
You were the
good.
only one that hadn't seen it.
I saw the snippet, so I saw Snoop's speech, Farrakhan.
Did you
Lauren
see it,
London.
Sid?
I was in class.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen any of the snippets?
I saw the snippets, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you guys see the mom?
Yeah, she's
She's
very strong.
We could learn a lot from her. So she practices a sort of African spirituality. She mentioned the church that she goes to. And, people were making ignorant comments about that. I know somebody that at my work was like, oh, what is that? First of all, why is it so long? And why is it taking so long? And who is this person? And, oh, what is she doing? Pouring out some liquor for her homies? I was like, really? Like, that's disrespectful. Respect my...
He or she was white.
not of course, but
Man.
yeah.
But, and look, this is the thing, Kim. When it comes to people, when they say
That's
ignorant
hurtful.
stuff like
That's
that.
hurtful to people that loved him. My daughter is one. She was at work when she heard people saying negative stuff.
And it's funny too, you know, when people talk about spirituality or things like that, but they don't even look at their own religion. Like, you know, when we talk about Christianity.
Oh
like
no,
you know, the body of Jesus, blood of Christ.
I had to slip something in real slick on
so
her.
that can go both ways.
But yeah, respect people's religion and their spirituality.
Most definitely.
What you laughing at? I think that was rude, and you got to respect people's spirituality.
Most definitely.
You know, did you guys see his dad? And this is a thing too. I want you guys to look at. You know, he came from a good family.
A great family.
Like a lot of the things that he stood, his moral foundation is from having a solid family. We talk about this in other episodes and how I talk about legacy and your kids and yo, you got to go back and listen to the last few episodes. We talked about that a few times, and that's what I'm talking about. That foundation that you have to build on. You know what I'm saying? That solid foundation, that spirituality, somebody there to encourage you. His relationship with his brother was the bomb. He found a nice lady to have a baby with, and God knows they probably would have gone on and had a lot going on. It's just sad that his life was cut short. But he was 33 years old.
Yeah.
It was about that age to be doing stuff like that. So I just think people should learn from that
He was
too.
settling down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
He was
that's
settling down.
that's the age.
Yeah,
to be
it's not time to be playing games no more. Yeah.
I think that what he did was great, and I think that what he did should inspire other people to, hey,
it's cool just to have one girl.
Listen to our last episode, y'all,
Yep.
because it's gonna bring a lot to what transpired during this week, okay?
Yep.
Because we talked about that, we talked about family, we talked about men, settle down. At what age do you consider yourself, you know, and not even an adult, what age do you consider yourself at an age where you should be like, bruh, like, it's time for me to plant my seeds and start my foundation mentally? He was doing that. You can see that. And I think that's what people admire. One of the things they admire about him, because they see
he's not having baby mama issues.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, you know, having his situation.
Yeah.
And also another thing that stuck out to me, it was a beautiful service. He was very highly, well-respected dude in the hood. They had a whole ceremony after. They drove through the streets of L.A. YG, he said something that was very, very, like, I didn't get where that came from.
I finally saw it too.
But did you see that, Sid? So we talked about that in the last episode and colorism and stuff, and I just want to show people that that's a prime example of what I mean, of what I'm talking about. So for those who didn't hear it, he was talking about here comes a light-skinned comment. Go ahead.
Hold on, we just talked about colorism, kid. We can't.
I just need people to know
reverse
that the person,
colorism right
whatever
now.
he's gonna say, because they might not be able to see him.
Yeah, true.
So I need them to know
you gotta set the
that
premise
right.
there.
I mean, and I don't. Go ahead, Jay Black. I don't know what he's about to say.
He just basically used an adjective to describe the couple of daughters.
Jay Black breaking it down. He said he used an
did,
adjective.
though. And I feel like, man, we honestly with that colorism shit, we just dig too deep into it. Like why do that even matter?
I mean,
like, why
colorism is colorism.
And I seen somebody in your comments say some shit like about the lady called her daughters beautiful, my chocolate babies. Like, why don't we look at that as a bad thing?
I didn't read that.
Yeah, like, it's just like, man, we look too deep into that. Like, why are we even arguing about that?
Well, because back in the day, there was something called the paper bag test. And people would actually say, "Oh, you can't get into this club, this school, this sorority, this fraternity, unless you are lighter than a paper bag." At the end of the day,
who set that standard?
We did. But you know where that comes from? It comes from it being done to us.
From who?
From white people.
So why are we carrying on a white tradition?
That's what I'm asking when I hear people say shit like, "I gotta take care of my light skinned daughter," as if that were some sort of like.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we looking at it like we want it to be a bad thing. Like, your daughter is light skinned, so my light skinned daughter, like, if my daughter, what if I say my dark skinned daughter? Is that a bad thing too? That's what I'm saying. Like, we making it a big deal.
You don't need to say anything like that.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think too, when people say my chocolate or like dark skin, it's to combat them facing stuff when it comes to, you know, dark not being beautiful sometimes. But at the same time, I see your point. Like, that's a great point. But I think too, like, when people say like dark is beautiful or like my beautiful chocolate babies, it's because
the same thing. Like,
you can say that
the same exact thing. Like, when you gotta make it a point to say my dark skin, it's saying it's the same exact thing. Like,
no, it's not. I mean, if you think about, it's the same thing as, I mean, colorism is basically the basis of racism. I'm not gonna like you because of your color.
Yeah, shade and things like that.
I mean,
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah,
That's part of it. I mean, when the cops pull you over, they're looking and they're gonna say, "Is this person black, light,
It's the white people that really don't like us.
But it's the black people that
we joke about it and we make it a big issue in between when we shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we should. Like, we all black at the end of the day.
Right. It don't matter which shade.
It's the same thing. Like, when the cops see that I'm black,
it don't matter which shade.
His mindset is already going one way.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like,
I just think that YG, of course, he shouldn't have made that comment because I didn't feel like it was appropriate.
It wasn't.
But, at the same time,
nothing that he said was appropriate.
Yeah. And like Jay Black, I feel what you're saying 110% because that's a great argument. And I think at the same time, reason being why, some people say like my chocolate dark-skinned babies is because society sometimes teaches them that you being dark isn't good or you being dark isn't attractive.
Exactly.
Contrasted to being light-skinned, and you already know sometimes if somebody's light-skinned, and I have a lot of cousins who are light-skinned, and they'll tell you in a heartbeat.
Black cats are bad luck. Bad guys wear black.
That
it's like black is just
negative connotations with it.
And even in media, all the videos. It's not even to be. It's not even to be. It's to be desired. Is what people are saying.
You just said black, right? Black is bad luck. At the end of the day, light skin or dark skin, you consider black.
True.
At the end of the day, like it's all the same.
But
it's all the same.
It is like levels to being black as well, though.
It's within us, like, you feel me?
Same for us, yeah. But at the same time, it's still like levels to it as well. Because I remember I saw the Nat King Cole documentary, and they actually put whiteface, not blackface, but whiteface on him because he was so dark skinned that they wanted him to be a light skinned man,
be more
so he could look more appealing and attractive to his white audience. So I think sometimes being lighter does help because that's always helped in the past.
Did you see the baby doll test where the little kids think that the white doll is good and the white doll is smart and the black doll is
about that as well.
I was telling him, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's
don't say that. Don't make it seem like it's. I can't make you get it. Just like I can't make, what I mean, a light skinned girl get it. You know what I mean?
It ain't that I don't get it. I completely get it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I just feel like, man, so if YG would have said, we got some beautiful dark skinned daughters we gotta raise, would that have been a problem?
It's just like
the
if somebody
wouldn't
says
have been there, right?
Not at the same level. That's a great argument.
But it's not a great argument because the whole thing is that the dark people are the ones that are the ones that are being just like white people. White lives matter.
True.
Like, white people, light skinned people are the ones that are looked upon to have the privilege because you're as beautiful. So if someone makes it a point to recognize a dark skinned person, it's because light skinned people are always held up to this high standard. So they're just doing that on purpose.
That could be like that can be mockery at the end of the day. It can be like, I'm gonna just tell them this because I know they got.
And sometimes it is. People do that.
So that's
people
not
do
right
that.
to do that either. That's my whole point. Like none of it is right. None of it is right. If we go, that's just eliminate it all. Like don't just say, "Oh, she pretty for a dark skinned girl." Like I don't say that. Like I remember
she's pretty.
asked me that. Like she like light skinned women or dark skinned women. I said I like women.
But why did she feel like she needed to ask you that?
I don't know.
Now,
I'm telling you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because some men have a preference, and the majority of them have a preference. When you see the TV, you see the videos, you see all that stuff, it's like to have a light-skinned girl is to have a prize. To some people.
A red bone.
Yes, it's in all the songs, it's in all the videos, and so not me or you or Sid or somebody, but somebody that's going through a time when they ready to date guys and they see that they're attracted, it just sends out a message. You listening to all these songs, these are the minds that we're talking about.
A foreign shit, just like exotic. Terminology like that.
Yeah,
exotic.
Like,
like she can't be a regular black woman.
Yes.
Or if she is a black woman, she can't look like a regular black woman. And at the same time,
what does a regular black woman look like?
And look, when I say regular,
so many shades.
Like Kim, Sid, or she could be light skinned, that's
what I'm saying. What's a regular black woman?
And look,
like?
my thing is as well. If I was in YG's spot, I would not have said light skin. I would not have said dark skin. I would have said we got two beautiful black daughters. Cause just like, and I agree with you. I don't focus on, oh she's light skinned, oh she's dark skinned. But at the same time, when we start differentiating and saying light skin, dark skin, or the same conversation that we had with Izzy, then that's when it gets very problematic. But I think it's just safer just to say black babies. But at the same time, when we start focusing on light skin, dark skin, and that's when we try to separate ourselves.
So I'm just saying, colorism is a thing. You
Very
you got to
true.
rethink about
Very
it.
true.
You have to think where
It
it
is a
came
thing.
from. It came from, the more white ancestors you have made you more
white or more appealing.
yeah.
Because Tariq Nasheed, he actually posted this on his Instagram page last week, but he's doing a new documentary on colorism too. and it was a clip on YouTube of this vlogger, and she was interviewing kids in high school, and they were in Florida actually.
Oh,
all
God.
dark-skinned dudes talking about that they didn't want a dark-skinned woman.
So what's going to happen when they have a dark-skinned daughter? Is they're going to teach
Exactly.
her, oh, be smart, go to school, because you're not pretty. You're not going to get the guy.
Right.
You're going to have to get the grade.
And then that right there shows you right there that somebody's teaching them these things through learning that dark skin isn't beautiful.
That's all right.
So
I'm
that's
not
the
even
thing.
going to talk about it anymore. You know
Yeah.
why? I'm just going to wait for him to say something to the wrong person, and then someone else is going to have to check him, because y'all don't listen to Auntie Kim. Y'all going to have to wait for these people to do something like your little Kodak.
Yeah.
It took it for him to say something to the wrong person,
Yep.
and now everybody wants to check
changed
him.
everything.
But if y'all
Yep.
would have listened,
Yep.
I would have told y'all.
A long time ago.
You know, you're not just ignorant in one area. If you're
Right.
going to say something, you're going to say it about something else, and it's
Right.
going to offend the wrong person.
Right.
All right. So we have to give some updates on some of the Senate bills that were passed, and some of them were really, 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 really crazy. So, for example, in Texas, SB 9, it's going to make it easier to send people to jail for voting errors. So if you, for example, let me see what one of the things were. The bill would increase criminal penalties for voting and give prosecutors more power to bring charges against voters, and crimes that were previously misdemeanors would become state jail felonies, punishable by up to 2 years in state jail and a fine of up to $10,000.
Wow.
Tucked inside SB 9 alongside measures that would strengthen elections are raising alarms, but the future of the right to vote is in state. This is in the appeal. One of them would make it punishable to have 3 or more people ride to the polls together. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's scary too.
The bill would undermine a very purpose of having provisional ballots and likely violates the federal Help America Vote Act. So there have been previous acts that, because first of all, did you guys watch that movie I told y'all to watch on Reconstruction?
On PBS, I haven't checked it out yet.
Okay.
Yep.
So once upon a time, the Republicans were the people that,
Majority black.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it switched up after Reconstruction, after the South really didn't want to abide by the laws that were established in D.C., and they were still down here just kind of trying to do their own thing.
Yep.
And the thing that switched it up was that, you know, remember black people were only considered to be 3/4 of a person. So
3/5.
3/5, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 3/5 of a person.
No, I mean 3 whatever. Like still,
Right,
still not
it's
a
not a
whole.
whole person.
Yeah.
But that was all about voting, right? Because if you have X amount of slaves, then of course they're going to vote for what you want them to vote for.
Right.
So there you go, boom, you're good, right?
Right.
Now that everyone is able to vote, they try redistricting, they try gerrymandering, they try all this stuff, and now they're just going, because if you move in it, you can't keep doing that whole
Right.
thing. They're trying to come down on that. So they get straight to the individual voters. Texas and Georgia, to me, maybe because I pay more attention to them, probably I'm sure Mississippi, Louisiana, you know, all Florida, all of them.
Yeah.
But maybe because I've lived these places, and so that's where I pay most attention to. But it just seems like they do the most.
Yeah. And I remember on Thursday when we spoke about it, the fact that you can't have, is it up to 3 people in your car when you go vote?
That's what one of the provisions was
And
saying.
that's, to me, gearing towards people, black or minorities or whoever, that you can't go carpooling to go vote. And I find that crazy. I find that so crazy. Like, they're trying to find any type of way possible to prevent people and people of color from voting.
Section 2.09, Section 3.030. Wait, 33.060. Election code is amended to read as follows. A person who assists at least 3 voters voting under this section at the same time by providing the voters with transportation to the polling place must complete and sign a form that, 1, requires the person to affirm that the voters are physically unable to enter the polling place without personal assistance or likelihood of injuring their health, and 2, contains the following information: A, the person's name and address; B, whether the person is providing assistance to the voters solely under this section or under both this section and subchapter B, family members. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it's a wild world, man. They're trying to stop us from being great.
Mississippi considered making the printing distribution of sample ballots illegal this session.
Wow.
It never made it out of the committee.
Wow. It feels like all of these laws are so outdated. When we talk about the carpooling or about somebody can face a death penalty for having an abortion, it's 2019, but we're so behind.
We got to follow the money.
We're so behind.
And that's the thing about paying attention to the votes, the bills.
On the local level.
On the local level.
Who you vote for.
Who you vote for.
Yeah.
Because, like, I heard David Banner talking about this. They have people that lobby and that people that go there specifically to hobnob and goober smooch with the politicians.
Yes.
So that they can have them in their pocket.
Yeah,
okay. So
it.
you could pass these laws.
You gotta
for
do this favor
example,
for me.
here's a prime example. In Georgia or any state that has the hands-free law, what happened? Everybody had to go buy that thing.
Or even if you didn't, now when you drive, you have to be cognizant of, oh, that's a cop right
I'm
there.
not
Let me
buying
put my
it.
phone
I
down.
just don't.
Yeah,
I just want to use my phone. I just
Right.
want, like, don't call
I
me,
feel
don't
it.
text
I
me. I'm
feel it.
driving. Like, I'm not gonna be made to buy anything.
Yeah. And two, let's say that the companies for the car mounts had their own people
Lobbyists.
lobby.
That's
so,
what I'm
so
saying.
then their rates, it could go
That's
up on
what
that.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's very interesting.
So when you buy stock in the stock market for a company, you want to buy stock in a company that has something that law makes.
Because then you're forced to have it. A seatbelt companies, things like that. And it's a corporation.
So why do you think a lot of these states are not even tripping about even trying to get public transportation?
That's true. Privatized business. It comes to the Ubers or it comes to the Lyfts, taxis, all that stuff. You know, even in school, I was talking to one of my advisors about this, and he told me that the reason why, you know, you get people's names after buildings, things like that, because these people do favors for each other. Like, I'm going to give you 5 meals, so you just name this after me, then you can build me a statue or something.
And
So,
in
that's how it
Texas,
works.
they say is usually the testing ground for bad voting rights bills. Like they push it out in Texas, see
Yeah.
if they snap, and if they do, they try it in other states.
That's some scary stuff, man. It's just people have to be aware, and we have to look at the bigger picture, and we have to ask, why are these laws being passed? So, because I haven't seen anything like this before. This is crazy. We got stuff like the Tim Tebow Act being passed. So it's just
Georgia.
making up stuff now.
Oh my goodness. So let's see, what else does SB 9 in Texas do? Is somebody in Texas has got to be listening to this because y'all really need to pay attention. Threatens voters with jail time and, I can't read this, enormous fines. We know that. I just think that, you know, you got to pay attention to some of these bills
Most
that are getting
definitely.
passed. They say hell no. But at the time, and we talked about this before too, at the time when it's a bill, you have to show up down at the State House and be like, we don't
Let your
want
voices
this. You
be
have to
heard.
let your voices be heard. You have to make
Yeah.
the phone calls. You got to show up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, show up for stuff like that.
That's real. That's real.
Sheesh.
We got to. And again, we can't get so focused on the bigger picture when it comes to the governors or when it comes to the president. Like, we got to think about local stuff, like councilmen, judges,
His
all
ass
that.
too, though. We're going to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
something
yeah.
that he did in a second.
Do these bills come around like every year, or is it like during election
Great
time?
question.
I think it's every 2 years.
Every 2 years, okay.
Get a new bill. Yeah.
I got to find out, but I think it's
And
every
then
2
they
years.
pass like in May, like they.
In April, like around this time.
April,
But, you
May.
know, when you see them talking about it, you could turn on the news, your local news. I know everybody's bad, you know, thinks that
Yeah, nobody watch the news.
Right.
No,
People
I-
only have TV.
That's real.
Like
you
TV
could go
is
on
everything.
Facebook, Instagram. They have pages, the news, the
But
local news.
most
I'm
people
not
get their
saying you
news
gotta-
from the
You
shade
gotta
room.
think
or-
now, like,
But that's where they get it from.
people,
Yeah.
like cable. Our cable is social media, and you basically get to pick your channels.
True.
You get to pick what channels you want to watch. Like
No
if I don't care
commercials.
about ABC, I'm not about to follow ABC.
And then
So I can
watch it for like an
movies.
hour, and you
If
got to
it
wait
don't
for the
come in-
commercial.
If it don't come in my life, like if I follow this and it
That's
that
all right.
come in
Don't
my
watch
life-
it. We'll let
But
y'all
no,
know what's
yeah,
going
that's
on.
what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. It take like people like us,
Yeah.
people that's influencers to relay that information.
Exactly. Simplify it too, because I think people get intimidated somewhat, you know, when they see the news because they don't see themselves. It's people talking proper, wearing suits and stuff, all that. So yeah.
So it will make
depressing, too.
basically SB9 is going to make honest mistakes, like, you know, going to the wrong place to try to vote, blah, 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 blah. You could get arrested for all that stuff, amongst other things.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Another thing that happened, Trump.
Hold on, while we on the bills,
Yeah.
I did some research on that journalist bill.
What'd you find out?
It's crazy. It's man, I just had a brain freeze.
I know, I hate that. I get brain freeze every time I get in front of this microphone. I be like practicing, talking about what I'm
It was
talking
basically
about.
saying how they gonna start, like they plan to start finding them. At first they thought, like, the journalists, and they thought it was a joke, and they was like, you know,
Whatever, right? No,
they're
they're
start finding them. They're gonna start like, you gotta basically turn over all the, like you were saying, you gotta turn over all the materials to the people.
Wow.
And it was I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. It don't make sense. It don't make sense of why you have to turn it. They want to control that narrative. They want to control what you
That's
put out,
exactly what it
put out.
is. It's like Nazi Germany.
Yeah, it's scary.
But it ain't unless they ask for it. You don't have to give it to them unless they ask for it.
Oh, okay. But if they do ask for it,
Yeah, you got to give it to them because it was saying.
So it's up to them.
About, like, the companies.
That bill comes up for vote in 2020, and they media outlets have since reported that Welch, the guy that introduced the bill, he resigned.
okay.
He's
But
a Republican, Timothy Barr.
you know, it's funny because they always talk about
Andy
fake
Welch,
news.
I'm sorry, Republican
But
Andy
it's
Welch.
like, wouldn't that be fake news because you're controlling what they can and cannot say?
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know what the journalism bill is, this is what it would do. Journalists would be required to provide free copies of audio or video recordings as well as photography to anyone they interview.
Wow.
The Georgia chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists denounced the bill in a statement saying it conflicts with the First Amendment.
I was just going to say that.
This
Yep.
bill clearly meant to intimidate journalists and show the important work of holding powerful people and organizations accountable for their actions. The bill will also hold journalists to a higher standard than the legislators. Oh, they came for them.
Wow.
Because the Georgia General Assembly and its offices are exempt from open records requests.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of agencies are not exempt. So that's how news reporters get this information, and you and I can get this same information, and you can get this information because they're subject to an open records. Most police stations, stuff like that, you have to like be able to go get a record.
Yeah.
News organizations will be required to provide their work to sources free of charge, while government agencies charge. When you get those open records requests, and that's why a lot of people don't get them, because really, I mean, you have to pay for them. But the journalists will be required to hand over their stuff for free.
Yeah,
So
it's just not right.
I wonder how much of that got to do with Trump. Well, not
a lot of it.
But no, is that just Georgia? That's just
It trickles down though. Like,
that bill
Yeah.
is just only in Georgia, ain't it?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as we already know, Trump, he has minions.
But
all throughout.
CNN is in Georgia. CNN is in
That's what I'm
Georgia.
saying.
Yeah.
The reason I said Trump,
He hates
'cause I know
CNN.
He had this fight with the media.
He's been
That's
having
true.
a fight with the media since he started. He remember he didn't even have press conferences for like the first 6. I mean, the guy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And all those Trump supporters out there, y'all must feel real stupid because everything he said he was gonna do, guess
done
what
it.
he's saying now? Oh, it'll get done next time. Elect me again.
Right.
That is just another tactic to get him in there
And lure you back
to
in.
avoid him from getting prosecuted
Mm-hmm.
for his crimes. We still haven't seen his taxes.
That's
I
it.
need people to pour more energy into the 2020 election, considering it's only 18 months away. I don't hear people talking about any candidates at all yet. Do
Yeah.
you?
I mean, I know we had one we was gonna talk about today with the reparations bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cory
well,
Booker.
Cory Booker. That's
I've
one
heard
person that's running
Bernie
for.
Sanders. I've heard Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Bernie.
I haven't heard much about Kamala Harris lately, but you know, I definitely have heard about her. On the Republican side, I haven't. I don't know who's running on the Republican side, or
Yeah.
if it's.
I think it's like the same crew as always, the same Republicans.
I mean,
you know, the
but
Ted
it is-
Cruz's.
It's really nobody that can run though, because Trump is the Republican candidate. So it's just.
And then too, like I don't
No,
see.
you.
they still can-
Yes.
Yeah, but I just don't.
I'm tripping.
They
tripping.
run and he has
yeah,
to
yeah,
read. Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest. I don't see anyone that can take Trump's votes. That's a Republican.
I don't know who's
white
running
people
that's a Republican.
Like Republicans
I heard
ride for
everybody on the
him.
Republican side.
well, that's
Republicans
why
ride for Trump.
because they know that he's
Yeah.
got them like.
And I don't know what he's done. Well, we do know what he's done.
He's just giving them an opportunity to be racist. And
Exactly.
Make it cool to be racist.
There you go. There you go. Because I think that white people feel so much pride, and racist white people feel
Don't
so
even
much pride.
say white people. Say racists.
Racist.
Because
white
I'm
racist
seeing a whole group of racists from all areas.
And you know what kills me
races.
too? When I see Hispanics who vote for Trump, because I'm like,
because they
most
made
definitely
it over,
don't like
baby, you should get it, because they're just like black people, and they made it to the other side, and they don't care if you make it or not, Uncle whoever. You stay over there, and I made it. I'm gonna stunt on you, and I'm gonna come to Mexico in my Versace outfit, and you can't get one because you can't come. That's how they do. That's how people do.
Scary, man. That's scary. Seeing that when I see us, some of us,
we do it
defend
too.
Trump, exactly. So I don't know, but I don't see Trump losing. I really don't.
I do.
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
y'all better stop saying that, because y'all said that last time and he got elected.
It's not gonna be the end of the world though. We're gonna be okay.
We gonna be all right.
Yeah, we made it.
We make it.
And like,
we make it through.
People
all
have to
that
understand
stuff.
that we've had presidents who's had slaves. Like it's
Right.
okay. Like we're not gonna die. We're gonna be okay.
We make it.
Yeah.
Thanks to our African spirituality.
Right. Exactly. They be trying to crack on all the time.
Okay. They was wondering what was that? How we were making it, and we were being healthy, and we carried on so long.
Somebody was pushing.
They were just like, what are they doing? It's voodoo. No, you can't do that. That's what happened back in the day. Yeah, it's demonic.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And two, speaking on that, I think that's why Nip's mom, why she's such at peace.
Exactly.
She's so strong.
Because she practices her African spirituality. She stepped up to that podium. She called on
She didn't break down.
all his family members that died before him
ancestors.
to welcome him into
That's deep.
the spiritual realm.
That's deep.
So when we were African slaves out there in the field, when they were killing us, and we would go out there and start practicing our African spirituality and our burial routines, which in some places like New Orleans, they still practice.
To this day.
Anyway, back to 2020 as a
Speaking on slavery. Yeah, speaking on slavery. What's up with your boy Cory Booker? Because you remember on the Breakfast Club, he laughed and said, "Look, man."
Oh man.
When they asked him about that, so it looked like he's changing his mind. He's trying to get them votes.
It's all about the votes.
Yep. There you go.
So
He's trying to get
Cory
them votes.
Booker,
Oh, go ahead.
I like Cory Booker. He's done a lot for my old city.
Yeah,
and
he is from New Jersey.
a lot of
Well,
my people
his
from my city
jurisdiction.
don't like Cory Booker. Cory Booker had a rally in Newark, New Jersey yesterday, and hardly anybody showed up, and they were ranking on him on the news. And I was so disappointed, because I'm like, okay, even if y'all aren't going to vote for him, could you just show up and make it look, like Trump people do? Just make it look like, I want to see a whole sea of just black people supporting this man. They don't like him because they're saying, the schools and the this and the that. And you know me, I'm like, he's a politician. He's not an activist or a community
He's not
leader.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? Like, politicians do what you make them do.
That's deep.
They do what the loudest voice tells them to do.
Or the deepest pockets.
Or the deepest pockets.
You choose.
So anyway.
Right. Right.
He said to Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey, old mayor of Newark, Brick City, my old home. He said to introduce a Senate bill that would look into slavery reparations. He plans to file a bill in the Senate that would form a commission to explore reparation proposals for African American descendants of slavery. And let me stop right there for a second, because I need to speak to every black person in this country. I want you to know that we are talking to the descendants of slavery.
Right.
If you don't know if you're a descendant of a slave, find out. But everyone is not.
Yeah, and two, people have to think about this, because I know, with this conversation, it can get complex. And I remember, I think it was Tariq Nasheed, but it's not Nigerian Americans or people like that. It's the people whose ancestors actually put in.
Some people were brought here, and some people came here voluntarily.
And look,
if your parents came here voluntarily, no disrespect.
Yeah,
it is
that's
what
no disrespect.
It is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Right.
And that's why I'm so adamant about that.
Right.
If you hear me on previous episodes talking about, we have a specific story that is just us. Like, we are always trying to assimilate and try to, soak in everyone else's culture.
Right.
But there's only a few of us.
Yeah.
Your parents might be from the South. You might be a first-generation person from the North, like I was. I am a descendant of a slave. I could drive you right down into the plantation
show you
where it's at right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know, but you should find out.
Right. Right.
And a lot of people erase that part of their family history. A lot of, I don't want to say it no more, but
No,
a
you
lot
say
of
it.
black people were able to pass for white. And they tried to erase that part of their family history, and they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like to watch Finding Your Roots. One of those actors on, what's the show with the guy?
Henry Louis Gates.
With Family Guy. What? Not Family Guy. Anyway,
Finding Roots?
one of those, Henry
PBS.
Louis Gates.
Yep.
But he did a special on one of these guys from one of these late night sitcoms. What's the name of that show?
Because I know Ben Affleck, he was on it too, and he found out that his parents, his
but
ancestors
he
were
won't let
slaves.
them air that episode because
Oh,
he
for real?
didn't want
Oh,
people
wow.
to know that his family
Yeah,
owned
because
slaves.
he's so against it. Yeah.
One of these actors found out that he was a descendant of a slave. He's
Wow.
white.
Wow.
Like you would never know by looking at him, but his great
We got-
grandmother was a
and
black
you said
woman.
it's on a late night, or the guy he's on.
The guy's on one of these shows.
Jimmy
It comes
Kimmel.
on no.
right.
I'm sorry, not late night. It's
Oh.
on a sitcom. It comes on ABC. The Spanish lady,
Oh, you talking about Modern Family?
Modern Family.
Yeah.
One of the actors on Modern Family, the one that's married to the blonde hair girl, he is black. His
That's how it
great
is.
grandmother was a slave. He's entitled to this money.
And then that's where it gets dicey.
I don't
Okay.
care. He's a descendant of a slave.
And see,
But what if you're a descendant of a slave and the master?
That's what I'm saying. That's where it gets dicey
You
because
still should be entitled.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think that we got to make
don't?
it because
What?
he's already benefiting from society. What does he need?
How?
reparations
How
for?
do you know?
Come
My
on,
great grandmother
Ken.
was raped by a white man. The child was still considered a slave. They didn't take them in.
Right,
Some of them
but-
were taken into. You see what I
but
mean? Yeah.
here's
it
what
gets
I'm saying,
dicey.
though.
You gotta.
Is he a white man?
He's white.
All right, that's the end of the conversation. Because
Oh,
look,
because his parents started checking white, so they automatically
and look,
got
if
him
you
out.
guys,
He don't get nothing
if
now.
you guys ever get a chance, look up $5 Indian. A lot of
We
black
talked
people,
about that.
Right, a lot of black people don't
White
even know.
people.
Yeah, and see, a lot of black people don't know that we're indigenous to America. Most of us we're already here too, but. With all that being said, with the $5 thing, white people could pay $5
Listen.
and be counted as an Indian.
They could pay $5 in two. Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we got to be careful because the same thing, it can happen right now. Because there's a lot of white people who claim, oh, I'm Cherokee, I'm this, I'm that, because they know what the benefits from saying that. So I think that we got to be careful.
They get benefits.
Exactly, so we got to be
Indian
careful.
descendants get benefits.
We got to be careful. So we got to make sure that we don't have people capitalizing and saying, hey, like this one person right here. Because, of course, everybody's mixed with something. So we got to be very specific.
All
Like,
right.
We have to say African Americans.
I read somewhere too. I can't think of the name of the school, but it was a school that just passed to where they paid $27. They added $27 to the tuition to go towards the descendants of slaves.
I saw that.
Oh, that's
too.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Because I guess the school was funded off of that or something, off of slaves. or
Yeah,
something.
there was
I mean,
a few
Princeton,
schools are doing
Brown,
that.
all Ivy League schools.
A few schools
Yeah.
are doing that.
Yeah, because it was a study, proving that all Ivy League schools got their funding from the slave trade.
Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Yeah, Georgetown.
That's
was-
what's up. And I think
the students voted on it.
University of Virginia for it, I'm a while now, if you can prove, which is sad, but if you can prove that you are a descendant of a slave or of slaves, then I think you can get a scholarship, tuition paid for, all that stuff as well. So
Yeah, Georgetown, it says that they're the ones giving it.
that's cool. Taking a step in the right direction, but my question for y'all is, how much do you think each person should get? Like, how do you even
I
calculate
think it should break
that?
down by this. You give every descendant of slave, you come up with your calculation, you give them the money, blah, blah, blah. But that's only if you are not able to find out what family owned them, and you try to divide what that family earned or what they owned and split that up
That's gonna be
by
another
today's
problem.
inflation.
It's
At
gonna be
today's
a whole-
inflation rate.
It's gonna be a big mess because
First just gonna be in debt.
Okay, either do that or just give me my 40 acres and a car
This family
and
don't-
be
40,
done
yeah,
with
we don't
it.
need a mule no more.
Think about that. Think about that. Like, even if you get your 40 acres, what are you gonna do with all that land?
And do you know what to do with it?
I'm
Because
gonna
you haven't
build.
been taught.
I'm gonna build a home, and then I'm gonna also build an apartment complex.
Who gonna run that apartment complex?
Me.
Okay.
Jay Black laughing.
No, I'm not even saying that
He
you can.
said,
I'm
okay.
just saying, like, it's just not as like you got all this. You got
It's a lot that
everything
comes
to
with
your
it.
feet. It's just like if you just get a lump sum of money right
If
now.
somebody
you
gave
don't
you
know
like
what to
$1
do with
billion.
it. You gonna blow it. You
Oh,
gonna
I know to invest it.
invest what? The land?
Okay, and that's the thing because what most of us will probably end up doing is selling our land. to someone
Or
that's.
rent it.
Which defeats the purpose of you even getting the land,
That's
because
my
you're supposed
point.
to
Like,
flip
I'm
it.
gonna farm on my
All
land
these people,
But the question is, do you know
And
how to
sell
farm?
my
it's not
produce.
easy to farm though. That's the thing.
It depends on the weather,
it
the
sounds
seasons.
good. I said my uncle. My grandparents live on a farm right
Yep.
now, and they tell me how hard that shit is. Like, that shit is not easy. Like, just to say it sounds good. It's good to have
It's
your
hard.
own resource, but
I'll bring
they
in.
doing that
I'll
shit
bring
on their
in.
own, like,
I'll bring in.
Hey, it
some-
depends on the weather, which season it is.
You have to know. You have to know the different. Like, you can't just.
You
oh,
can't
I gotta
kill the
just
soil.
plant this.
Yeah,
have
you
to
can't kill the
actually
soil.
Understand this.
Yep.
Us as
That's
people,
real.
like we've been having this conversation because my grandma's getting old. I think she's 90 years
So
old.
somebody's gonna have to run it.
Somebody gonna have to run
Right.
it. When my grandpa was here, we was just talking about it. Like, I'm like, man,
I'm not
Us-
running no farm.
I told no, I really
Like,
said it.
you
I
ain't
said,
gonna
man,
catch me in the field.
I don't know
bro.
who you
it ain't
talking
even that I
about.
don't want to run it. It's just
Yeah.
that my life, I haven't, my life is not centered
A
around
farm life.
life. You
You're
feel
not a
me?
country life. You're not a country guy.
And for me to have,
You got a lot going on.
I don't
Well,
know. I don't know how to run a farm.
Exactly.
You need to get one of you. Somebody needs to grab up one of them little nieces and nephews and teach them now.
But
That's what I'm saying.
what if they don't want
Young.
to?
That's
though?
what I'm saying. You can't force nobody.
Yeah,
to
what
do
if
it.
they don't want to
absolutely
farm?
can. If
But
that's
what if
all
they don't
they
want to
That don't
farm?
mean that's not. That don't. If you force somebody to do it, that don't mean it's not gonna prosper.
Well, then you
And that's
know
not
what
fair
you
to
have
them too.
Yeah.
That's
Do
not
what
fair to
they
them.
do. Do what they
And
do.
see,
Get,
too,
get
I
some,
think
people from
Being
other.
real, I think that's why we don't need reparations. I'm gonna be completely 100.
Don't
in this
ever say
conversation.
that again.
No, because I'll tell you why.
We're not financially literate enough to have.
There you go. It's
that.
a setup, anyways. Because
Not to cut you
yeah,
off.
no, you're
But
good.
Even if it wasn't just black people, like nobody would be able to.
That's a
get
lot.
this, like, not
That's
just
a
black,
lot,
even if it
man.
was Indians and
Yeah.
like, this is a lot for somebody just to take
Overnight.
I'm gonna just give you all this.
Overnight.
I'm gonna pay you back
Overnight.
with all this.
Let me do what
And
I
see,
wanna do with
it'll
it.
be
That's
different.
the problem. Everybody gonna want to do it, but it's not.
There
It
you
might
go.
not be the right thing.
Right,
It
right.
might be too. It might hurt us more than it help us.
There you go.
That's my thing. Like,
Hey, every gift, it comes with a great responsibility. And I think, too, it'll be different if we did get the 40 acres and a mule. Because then that'll
I
be
want a
passed down
car.
from generation to generation.
See,
Possibly.
that
We
will
would
help the
win.
car companies. Give me 40 acres and a General Motors car.
Nah. But it's
It
tough,
sound
though,
good.
Ken, because think about, and I don't even think people understand how big 40 acres is.
right.
That's a lot of
right.
land.
Right. I think my people got like. I want to say they might got like 8 acres. That might even be 8, but that shit look huge.
Yeah, it's
So
huge.
40 acres. A bunch of different families with 40 acres.
Okay, well, it won't be 40. Maybe it'll be 1.
You might as well just
I don't know
have a
how
house.
big that is.
It's
See,
just-
this is what
we don't know how to take care of land. We don't know how to farm. We don't know what to do with crops. We don't know how to sell the
We
crops.
don't even do our own cropping now.
There you go. We don't even grow
So
our
now we
own
gonna go
tomatoes
from
and
never.
things like
we
that.
gonna go from never cropping on a regular basis to
Yep.
having a whole bunch of land. And
Maybe-
all
Millions of
farming
dollars.
now.
the people
Millions
that
of
do
dollars.
know how to do it, we'll pay them and they'll make
Hey, you
money.
talking
We
about
start a
car.
whole new economy.
You talking about a car? What you need a car to farm for?
Yeah.
That's your job. Your job is that farm life.
So you might need that
Well, then how I'ma
mule.
get
You
to the
might need that
club?
mule. or
How I'ma get
something.
to the club?
And see, that's our mindset. Like we trying to have fun and stuff. But I
Listen
think
to what he says. Since
we can't
slavery
do it.
in this country, we have had overt policies fueled by white supremacy and
Of
racism
course.
that have oppressed African Americans economically for generations.
We need some. Not to cut
This
you
is
off,
what
we need
Cory
some
Booker
updated-
said.
This will really should be asking for, instead of 40 acres and a mule, we should be like, we need, we want to run the house. Or we want to run the shit. You feel me? Some shit like that. Like some
We
shit.
buy
did.
some properties,
If
parking
you would
lots.
have watched the show I was telling y'all to watch and you haven't watched it yet, you would
How about
see how much power we used to
Oh
have.
yeah,
but
you know
that's what
people
I'm
like
saying.
Robert Smalls.
We
He
keep
was in
talking
that
about this
group.
40 acres
He
and a
was.
mule.
They talked about him
he
on
was in
there.
that- See, man, hey, I studied this.
We
man.
keep
I
talking
got
about the
you,
40
kid.
acres and let's update what we want. Like, let's,
Yeah.
okay, now we want.
Apartment building and a
Right,
Porsche.
parking lots.
It doesn't have to be material things.
Yeah.
Let's put our people in position.
Right.
Okay, we want to be in control of this.
Yes.
We want to be in control of this part of the government.
Businesses.
If we know that the government
Marijuana.
is the ones, we want to control this sector of the government.
Just
Many-
like how certain people get casinos
Yeah.
or farming
the
properties or
Indians get
oil
casinos.
industries
Yeah.
in Texas. Like we need a marijuana industry or parking lots, real estate, all that stuff.
Many of our bedrock domestic policies that have ushered millions of Americans into the middle class have systematically excluded blacks through practices like the GI Bill, discrimination, and redlining.
Gerrymandering.
Just for the record, another person that's running for president who has been preaching this just from a spiritual level is Marianne Williamson. She's
Yeah,
running
she
for the
was solid.
Democratic nomination. Marianne Williamson has said on numerous occasions for years and years
Since 1997.
that black people deserve that. She said that until white people come to the table and offer it, our country is never going to get over this hump. We're always going to have this animosity, this anger, and this hatred that forms some of the policies that keeps all this going until we come to the table and come to the realization that we're wrong, offer an apology, and offer some reconciliation.
Kim, so I have a slight question too, because it's like, do we really expect for a white supremacist society to give us what we deserve, which would not let them be on top anymore?
Yep.
And look, I'm not saying that we don't deserve it. I'm saying that we don't, or we shouldn't expect for them to do that.
You know, we live in a power, like everybody want to have power. You think they're going to give up power?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like are they just going to change society?
You feel sorry, I'm going to give up power because
It's never been given away. It has to be taken.
And that's what I'm saying. So we have to create on our own, just like what we're doing right now. We got to keep working on our own. We can't expect for the same people that enslaved us to, basically.
No, motherfucker, I'm not giving you shit.
Hey, I respect ADOS.
That's why I would vote for somebody like him.
Who, Cory Booker?
Yep.
Or
Marianne Williamson.
But again, like I respect the plight, I respect the strategy, but at the end of the day, and just call it how it is, we're begging white America to give us what we deserve rather than just creating what we already know.
Well, that's what Bernie is saying. Bernie is saying he's not really 100% behind reparations per se, but he thinks that people should be given like free school, So maybe you guys are really Bernie supporters.
I don't like Bernie because Bernie, he was mad disrespectful when somebody asked him about reparations. So I'm good.
He wasn't disrespectful. That's just how he talked. He just was giving abrupt no. But he also said that what his policies would provide for people like us.
I really don't like the idea of free schooling either.
So
and I say that because when stuff free, you don't really
fight for it.
Not even fight for it, but
you don't appreciate it.
You don't appreciate it. My undergrad was free. And I ain't really appreciate it like I should have.
Because you already had it.
I was kicking it,
but
partying.
But you go to school to learn. You go because you want to go. They're not making you go like high school.
They ain't making you go, but it's cool to say I go to college. So everybody will go to college.
Right.
You feel me? It's a free ride to leave your city. It's an easy way to leave your city. So
and be on your own.
I think people would abuse it more than use it for good if it's free.
But at the same time, because when I was in Cuba, man, the school and all that stuff was free, and those kids were geniuses.
So you're still gonna have people that's focused.
Take advantage, but then at the same time, you're gonna have some people. It's just like, because just like how athletes, they get to go to school for free, and some of them don't care about school because it's already free. So that's cool because at the same time, you got somebody that's working 3 jobs, and they probably busting their butts because they trying to make it. So I don't know.
It's definitely gonna separate people. It'll separate the people that's gonna make it at the end
Facts.
of the day.
Another bill that could affect people, especially like in Texas again. Trump signs an executive order to push it to make it easier to build oil and gas. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but about a month ago, there was a oil rig explosion in the Houston area. And another one happened like a week later in the northern part of Houston. I don't know if you guys remember the whole Dakota Access Pipeline,
right,
where they're drilling, and it kind of makes some environmental hazards.
Right.
He signed an executive order. So,
but they said, them executive orders, that don't mean it's...
Right. They said that it doesn't really mean much because you would think that people have a moral standard and, ethical standard and be like, we probably shouldn't dig here. We probably shouldn't do this. We probably shouldn't do that. But as a person that lives here and have seen and lived a long time and seen how people do, I don't think they care. Like, I think that we are leaning on them to make good decisions, but at the end of the day, the stockholders are going to be like, we need to make money, so you need to pump more oil. You know what I'm saying? So they had the Republican lawmakers and energy groups accused blue states of blocking pipeline projects using this section of the Clean Air Act. One of Trump's executive orders will aim to weaken that power. Whether that actually happens remains to be seen. So Trump's pipeline order marked his latest effort to push for infrastructure projects. His administrations will unleash American energy. I'm going to go on the leash and say he probably hasn't done much research on this. In early 2017, Trump administration reversed an Obama administration act decision to deny a key permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline and instead approved its construction. So like I said, he issued a second presidential permit for the Keystone XL pipeline after an entire permit was overturned by the U.S. District Judge. His latest permit is also being challenged in court. So they put these things in place so that people's homes, lives, health aren't in jeopardy, and he just goes over their heads and says no because he doesn't care. But you have to think about it, and it doesn't really affect us too much, but some people that live like on the Gulf Coast, remember when they had that oil spill and it ruined the whole shrimp industry for years in New Orleans? Like, you have to take all those into consideration. So what what Obama was doing was putting regulations on these people, like you can't do this, you can't do that, and he's overriding all that. And you would think that people like in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi would be out there like, oh my God, no, because of what happened to their water and their food. Right. But
they kill us.
Maybe they have so much stock in these oil companies that they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
What good is having the money if you're not healthy enough to spend it? That's what I never understood.
True. You can't even enjoy it.
You can't even enjoy it.
I remember Birdman. They said Birdman invested into the oil companies. Remember he got the oil thing tattooed on his head?
Is that why he has that? I thought it was the Houston Oilers thing.
Oh, nah. We got it covered by, it's a star now. It's covered up. But I don't know if it was a rumor, but they said he had like a little oil thing on his head, and it was because
I believe
he had invested in
he probably did. I mean, he lives down there. He probably knows a whole bunch of people that work out on those oil rigs. Yeah. That's one of the best jobs to get when you live down there, but you have to live on the oil rig like months at a time or weeks at a time, and then you come home, you can chill, but you make a lot of money.
Yeah, my brother's girlfriend's dad, he works at one, and he'll be gone for like 2-3 weeks. Yeah. And things like that. Yeah, and he'll be like Mississippi Gulf Coast area, New Orleans, things like that. So yeah, that's a real thing. That's
so I believe that. So that was kind of like it. Also, just as a follow-up to something that we talked about last week, my auntie, Wendy Williams, filed for divorce.
Yes. Yeah. How you feel about that?
I'm so happy. And I'm pro family, pro marriage, pro stick it out, tough it out, honor your vows. Love. But after a while, it's like, come on, son, you had a whole family. Like, I'm out here getting high. I'm trying to get over it.
Yeah. It's not healthy. That's crazy. That was a crazy relationship.
Yeah. So what do we have to look forward to for next week? Anything going on?
Looking what happens to my man Magic and the Lakers next.
Oh, that's
gonna
right.
be hilarious. I ain't gonna be here.
They just fired the
Huh?
I said they fired the coach too.
Yeah. So I said to Caleb,
who was it? It was the head sports trainer. He got fired too because they said that they had way too many injuries this year.
Everybody getting their heads LeBron goes, he causes mass devastation.
Jay Black had a strong argument. He just has a spotlight, so
he has a spotlight,
weaknesses get exposed.
So when he gets there, you can see him. Is that what you're saying?
Or just for how we were talking about Nipsey, for example. Right. Mm-hmm. Everybody talked about Nipsey getting shot, but they didn't talk about his friends.
Right.
Nipsey's the bigger star. Same with LeBron. LeBron's just the bigger celebrity, the bigger star.
So they focus on his team more.
They gonna see everything that he's doing. They got a microscope on everything that he's doing.
Like Boston right now, man, they getting killed by the Pacers. The Sixers lost to the Nets yesterday.
Honestly, I don't even see like.
The Nets beat the Sixers.
I don't even really see I don't really see Golden State that much.
Right.
Like, I don't even hear them talk. That's what I'm saying.
And look, and
KD,
KD, he got ejected last night again.
What?
Yes, KD is one of the most ejected players in the league.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So like they was talking about the other day. I'm like, damn, he got
like 8 times this year.
Or 18. He got like 16.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets don't go to the championship this year.
Everybody's been saying that, but. We'll see. It's just that, again, we got to be fair to my man.
I really want OKC to. I really need.
I'm rooting for OKC this year.
They got an easy path.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them this year as well. I want to see them win it all.
I want to see them
especially
win.
Russ.
Yeah, they want
him and Paul George.
Into the Western Conference championship.
I want to see that.
Anything else going on in sports?
Hey, shout out to Tiger Woods, man.
I just saw that. He doing his thing.
First place at the Masters.
Yeah.
Is that here in Augusta?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
It's here?
Yep.
I know it's at Augusta, but I ain't know the Masters was here. Yeah, it's in Augusta. Yep.
He doing his thing.
Tiger back on top.
Yeah. He ain't black, though. Because he said he wasn't black, but it's all good.
You love Tiger Woods?
I mean,
rooting for him?
I like people that of my descent,
yes.
of my color.
What Tiger represents. Even if Tiger says that he's not black behind closed doors, we'd be like, he black. His dad's black.
Yeah, he the closest thing to black.
His
he the closest thing to black in that sport. So
his dad is a regular black man.
No,
his mom
his
is just
dad,
Asian.
He's Samoan or something?
Nah, his mom was Asian. Yeah, let's
But
see.
where's his dad from?
We about to look it up right now.
He's from Cali, huh?
Right, yeah, regular. Yeah, Earl Woods, bro. He a regular dude.
Let me see this guy.
Earl
Where's he
Woods,
from?
bro. He's straight from the neighborhood.
Neighborhood Earl?
Neighborhood Earl.
Who is? Tell me where
See,
he's from.
that's Tiger's mom right there. That's why he looked like that.
Okay, let me see where
See?
Earl Woods is from. 'Cause
So
I
when
need
Tiger
to
talk
know.
about he ain't black, all right, okay, Tiger.
And a lot of people say that though.
You still one of us, bro.
He was a U.S. Army infantry officer who served 2 tours in duty in Vietnam.
He's from Kansas.
Oh wow, he was born in Manhattan, Kansas.
See? I think his mom is from Vietnam.
Oh, is that where he met the mom? Earl Wood's mother, Maud, was of mixed African and European ancestry
Dang, so
and
she
was
got
light-skinned. It literally says that in
Wow.
the Wikipedia.
Wow. You know, sometimes we can't be trusting Wiki.
It literally says that on Wikipedia.
But yeah, so
Earl Wood's mother was of mixed African and Europe. Okay, well, what about his dad? He was black.
Earl from Kansas, man.
Wow, look at this picture.
See? So that's the problem we got people talking about.
Wow,
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is black. I never knew that.
He on that OJ
You ain't
syndrome.
never know that?
I mean, when he said he wasn't black, I just was like, okay.
No, that's why everybody was like, okay.
You know? Okay.
Whatever you say, Tiger, we got you. But I mean, even if he says that, like, he represents something still. So
At the end of the day, he represented for the blacks in
Exactly.
In golf. So
even if he don't want to, he's still doing it
I support it.
subconsciously. So yeah, I support
Be
Tiger
a
as well.
minority in golf.
Right.
I support all minorities in whatever.
His
field.
dad was
With a comeback.
Baptist, a Baptist man from Kansas.
See, but yeah, I support Tiger. It's just weird not seeing Bron in the playoffs this year. Like, this is one of the weirdest years for me
Bron
because
is
I'm
a
not
coach.
rooting
LeBron
for anybody.
is a coach. That's why everywhere he goes, they fire the coach. They don't need a coach when he comes. He comes, he plays, he goes to the bench, tells them what to do, goes and plays the game.
Hey,
comes
Jordan
back,
did the same thing.
Yells at the
Jordan,
coach,
he got Doug
tells the
Collins
coach to
fired.
go sit
Nobody want to talk
down.
about that. Jordan, he got coaches fired too. Yeah, Kobe did too. Every great basketball player gets. Magic got his coach fired after he won the finals. Great players demand greatness at the same time. So it's like at the same time, you know, when we see players not playing up to par, you got to go. Coaching as well.
He's the coach.
Nah, he just great.
That's why everywhere he goes, the coach gets fired.
He just great, man. I'm telling you. Trust me, Kim. Trust me. Because Kyrie, he on the same wave right now.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. We are going to wrap it up.
Yes.
And see you
Enjoy it.
next week.
Yes.
Make sure you follow us. I don't even know what to say anymore because you can follow
Everything.
us everywhere on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we official now. It's crazy.
We official, like, just look us up. We out here.
Yep.
And follow us on Instagram and
Yes.
talk to us on CTD_ATL.
Yep.
And inbox us and tell us your thoughts.
Most definitely. You guys take it easy and subscribe.
Subscribe, like, post,
Share. That's
share.
it. So that's
Tell a
it.
friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, that's it. But next week, I'm excited because I know some stuff is probably going to go down again.
What you think's gonna go down?
Something, you know.
I know.
Something
I
always
always
pops up in the news every
always
week.
have some anticipation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to take notes.
Yep.
Cause Caleb was late. He was sending us clips from the funeral, and we were like, "Didn't we tell you we saw this?"
Oh,
funeral?"
yeah. When I
you was
said
the
it was
only
Snoop.
one that didn't see
Hey,
it.
I felt it though.
Did you cry?
I almost did. Snoop's, man, I feel like he had the best speech.
I think the
felt that.
brother did.
Yeah.
And those
yeah, his was
videos
tough.
of the dad.
Yeah,
oh.
and then at the end when they played My Way.
What
Frank
about
Sinatra,
Lil Wayne's son?
That was beautiful. Jay Black, he was right. He looked just like Wayne.
He looks just. Is Wayne? Are we still recording? Oh, we didn't know.
It's all
But that's
good.
fine. All right, y'all. Peace out.
All right, you guys take it easy.